Welcome to one of the worst podcasts on YouTube. This is Stephen J. Morris coming to you from the Sullivan County, actually known as the Catskill Mountains. Enjoy the scenery.
Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes all the same. There's a pink one and a green one and a blue one and a yellow one, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same. And the people in the houses all went to the university where they were put in boxes and they came out all the same. And there's doctors and lawyers and business executives, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same. And they all play on the golf course and drink their martinis dry, and they all have pretty children, and the children go to school, and the children go to summer camp, and then to the university where they are put in boxes and they come out all the same. And the boys go into business and marry and raise a family in boxes made of ticky-tacky, and they all look just the same. There's a pink one and a green one and a blue one and a yellow one, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same.
Yes, Ms. Reynolds. When that song came out in the early 60s, there was already signs of rebellion. The great materialistic promise of affluence and prosperity was brainwashed the baby boomer generation. Work hard, they said, and you will be a billionaire, zillionaire, and you'll have butlers and maids and chauffeurs, and you'll never have to work again. Everybody will kiss your feet. Well, we thought about it. A lot of us didn't appeal to us. Bunch of materialistic crap. There was even episodes of Twilight Zone showing how vacuous that was. I didn't want it. I didn't care. I didn't care about expensive cars and shiny clothes and jewelry. There was something more to life. And today, we're going to be talking about that in one moment. Howdy. Today's topic is about apostates, sellouts, traitors. From the right. This one, Whittaker Chamberlain. Whittaker Chamberlain used to be a member of the Communist Party. But then somehow he realized he was in an evil, evil party. So he became an American. That's the story they want you to believe. But Mr. Chamberlain, or Chambers, Whittaker Chambers, he was paid off by Hoover, J. Edward Hoover, the cross-dresser. And he became this well-known figure during the McCarthy era of exposing the evil communist. Now, a lot of apostates like this didn't do it on ideological reasons. It was all for profit, money, and fame. It was not for patriotism or the sudden realization that this is God's favorite country. No. These would be the typical why I left the left. And he told so many lies about CP, the Communist Party, eventually were all proven false. He testified of all the hearings, and they were all just outright lies. Big lies. So let's go to another character, another apostate. This cartoon. Meet David Horowitz. His parents were members of the Communist Party. And he's from a generation, he's not a baby boomer, he's ironically one of the greatest generation. He took this old liberation theology magazine called Ramparts, which was a Catholic magazine, and converted to a new left magazine. He was one of the worst writers that ever befilled the left. He would write some editorial and you could not make head or tails of what he was talking about. It was just all high diction gibberish. Well, anyway, he hooked up with Eldridge Cleaver, and he got involved with the Black Panther Party somehow. He fell in love with this woman, which I believe was black, and somehow she got assassinated. And that's was his breaking point. Well, he and Eldridge left the country because Eldridge was a felony, he was a fugitive from the law. So he went to Cuba. Him and David here, they went to Cuba. Castro grew really suspicious of them, and he realized they were just agents for the CIA. So he kicked them out of Cuba. They went to Algeria. And then eventually, as the years waned on, Eldridge Cleaver declared that he was a Republican, and David Horowitz complained, yeah, he did complain a lot, was a crusader for anti-communism. He was like the American version of Dr. Fred Schwartz. But he realized he could make a lot of money being a reactionary. Yeah, he could, and he did. He's made or published more reactionary paperbacks than anybody. And they're all delusions of. They're just fantasy. They're fictional depictions of the left, the evil left. None of it is true, but every book that he published got more absurd and more absurd. But I want to know, his parents were Jewish. How come they weren't Trotskyist? That was normal for the Jewish left to become Trotskyites. But no, they stuck with the Stalinoid, the tankies, the Communist Party. I wonder why. Maybe they were spies too. Who knows? But he has some vocal problems, and he talks like this. And the communists, they used to take Jewish children and put them in microwave ovens and serve it for May Day. You know, shit like that. So, every apostate from the right that becomes, well, every apostate from the right that brags or talks about being a refugee exile from the left is either delusional or just greedy and wants publicity. Did Whittaker Chamberlain ever get fame from being a conservative? No, he just died in obscurity, barely make it on Social Security. David Horowitz, he, for all his fictional books he put out, he's done okay. He lives in some lower middle class house back east. Now, this is the subject. This is the subject I want to talk about. Boy, she's better looking than those two. I could look at her picture all day. I don't know if she'll ever see this broadcast because I'm a nobody, okay? But that's all right. This is my open letter to Ana Kasparian. Ana. Everything that's been said to you by the social media left has been hysterical, really. But I realized that you were attacked by walking your dog. I don't know the details of the attack, so I'm not going to say nothing about it. I'm sorry for what happened for you. Okay, let's start this off, Ana. You have such a nice smile. Ooh, it's creepy. I'm creepy. Okay. There was an old joke in the 70s called, it went like this. It was a one-liner. What is a conservative, Matt Walsh? What is a conservative? Answer, it's a liberal that's been mugged or raped or robbed. Get it? The lesson here, the moral of this is when you go to get attacked by poor people or black people, you're gonna blame it all on the race and the class, and you're gonna just trot over to be a conservative because you were attacked. Now, when you, I don't think you have gone to the dark side. I don't. It was a good publicity stunt. No, I don't think, I'm not saying your attack was a publicity stunt. I'm talking about how everybody, all the podcasters, oh, Anna's gone, she's become a right-winger, oh no, oh boy, she's going to be another, I don't know, Ann Coulter. Did you ever notice Ann Coulter has an Adam's apple? You think she was a tranny? Well, anyway, I don't think Ana Kasparian is Kasparian. I can't pronounce it, these Turkish names. I don't think she's going to be another Ann Coulter. I think she's got her head on straight. But be aware of. Well, let me play this video for you if I can.
Hello, everyone. I want to say
Hello.
it's such a pleasure to be here. I want to thank you, Nathaniel, for making this all happen. And I want to thank the College Republicans for being willing to host me. Apparently, that's a very brave thing to do, as I am a very harmful and threatening transphobe. So it is nice to meet every single.
They will never learn that they're not funny. They're this Anglo-Saxon Protestant sarcasm does not fit you. You're wearing the wrong color shoes. It's not funny. The people who own you do own you and put words in your mouth.
One of you. Hopefully I'm not as scary as you thought I might be. And today I just want to start off by introducing myself. My name is Amala Epinobi. I'm 22 years old, and I'm currently working at PragerU, hosting a show called Unapologetic and talking about my beliefs on social media, which I'm very blessed
Unapologetically stupid
to be in the position to do on a day-to-day basis. I'm by no means an intellectual. I'm simply somebody who went through an ideological transformation and am now in the space where I share that with people, because by virtue of being born a Black female, my voice has become abundantly important in today's day and age. Not that it should be because of my race and my gender, but because we've set ourselves in an ideological hole where now I'm able to say things that a lot of people are unable to say in today's climate. So I figured I should share my story with you so that all of you can get to know me, for those of you who don't know me already. I was born and raised in a small, rural, conservative town in Central Florida. And I happen to be raised by a single mother of 3. My mom happens to be white, and although I don't view that to be particularly important, it becomes...
First of all, it's important. Second of all, you're living with your white mother, so you're confirming the stereotype that Black men leave their family. Is that what it is? Were you selected because of that, to be a propagandist? Well, no wonder Dennis Prager loves you.
It's important to my story as I'm raised and...
Important. At least you don't say, I mean. Idiot, I mean.
As I progress, I often think back to what my earliest political memory would have been as a child, because my mom happens to be a very active leftist. She works for a left-leaning organization back in Florida. Works
what
on
is it?
Any left-leaning campaign you can think of. She's
What's
at the
the name
forefront,
of it?
knocking doors, talking
Concerned
to people,
Democratic
doing development
women?
and fundraising
What
for
leftist?
these endeavors.
Was she in the Weather Underground?
So, my mom is very proud of what I do now.
Sarcasm. Shut up, bitch.
As you can probably imagine. But I think my earliest political memory was in 2008. I was 8 years old at the time, and I remember being super excited on this particular day because my mother said I could stay up past my 9:30 bedtime. And the reason she said that was because we were going to find out who the president of the United States was. And I sat down in front of the television with my mother, my little sister, and my brother, and we watched as the results rang in and rang in and rang in. And slowly but surely, I was very tired and exhausted, but we got our results. And my mother sat in front of the television and started bawling her eyes out.
For those who are not into 1940s or 50s colloquialism, bawling means crying, okay? She has no concept of what racism was like. She and her husband, her father and her mother, if they would have walked down the street somewhere in the southern regions of this country, they would have had rocks thrown at them, people spitting at them, people staring at them with hatred in their eyes. But she doesn't realize that. She got captivated by these right-wing duty heads who say, "Oh, don't believe that. We always been here. Watch this a show called Leave It to Beaver. That's the way America was."
I mean, she was crying harder than I'd seen this woman cry in a long time because Barack Obama was president. And I remember looking at her and going, "Why are you crying? This is the guy that you've knocked doors for months now. You've been screaming."
Well, you're just a little kid and you don't know shit about the history of this country. That's why you asked that stupid question, why are you crying?
Crying about people voting for him. You've been using his hope slogan everywhere you go. You're wearing the t-shirts, the signs outside the front door. And she looked at me and my siblings and said, "This is such a historic day. I'm so glad you're here to see this. I never thought such a racist country would elect a Black president." And in that moment, I recognized, I think, a few things. That one, being Black in America is super important. And
Important. Say it. Important. Tent. Not important. Important. What the fuck is that? Important.
two, that a lot of people don't like that, don't like to see Black people in civil society. So that was one message that was put forth in my brain as a young child.
It wasn't a message, it was fact. Okay? It was fact. It was not a message.
And there would go on to be more and more. I remember my mother, as we would go around to grocery stores, would say, "You know, we're going to get a lot of weird looks from white people because they don't think that me as a white person should have a Black child." And that stung. And now every single...
It's true. You're going to have a bunch of white people tell you how wonderful America is. And you're going to be their little puppet. Right? Right.
cross look that I got or curious look that I got from a white person was racism. She would tell me when people asked to touch your hair, when the white kids at school asked to touch your hair, which happened all the time, was in a white neighborhood. That's a microaggression. It's actually racism being committed against you. And you
No, it's curiosity, you dumb bimbo. Micro. It's not micro. Micro racism is saying, you people are such great athletes. Even though you don't swim. That's micro racism. Not people touching your greasy hair.
should take a strong stance and a firm stance and tell them not to ask questions about your hair, not to ask questions about your skin tone, and to, in fact, keep away from those subject matters altogether. Okay, I learned that. I remembered that. And I was, as you can probably imagine,
where are we
very
going
angry.
with this?
So we start with this moral impulse brought about by the likes of Gene Stefanczyk, Derek Bell, Richard Delgado, Kimberly Crenshaw, who are names you'll find if you look into OG critical race theorists. So they have this idea and they go, okay, well, we need to back this idea up.
Okay, this bullshit. For the billionth time, critical race theory was a college elective. It wasn't a requirement. And you learned about these theories, racial theories about law. They're not teaching in any high school or elementary school. I've had enough with this chick. How about you, okay? Oh, she's getting me nauseous. Yeah. So let's go back. let's go back to Anna. Anna, do you want to be paraded around like a prize pony for Dennis Prager? Look at this Turkish woman. She was brainwashed by the communists. And now she discovered America, how wonderful it is. You don't want to do that. And I don't think you will. I don't think you will. Because you know the stench of poverty. You know the streets. So I just plead to you, do not become a chud. All right? And that's all I'm going to say today. Goodbye. Good luck. See you around.